I'm not big on predictions. I would have never predicted Trump would win the presidency. I wasn't that. So I'm not. I always am not good at predictions, but we have made some that have come true. So the prediction of Trump putting the ugly face on the horrible stuff the government was doing, that came to be true. Trump isn't going to come anywhere near the deportations of Hispanics that Barack Obama did in his first term. Why? Because local people are aware of the Trump's immigration policies, and local municipalities stopped working with ICE. They worked with ICE under Obama. So that was true. We also predicted that every member of the squad would vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, and they did. And so they elected Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman. Cori Bush we had on the show when she ran the first time. We were the first, just like AOC. We're probably the first show to have her on. Mm-hmm. We're always a leader. But as much as you like Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman and everybody else, it's the opinion of my opinion and the opinion of this show is that progressives running in the Democratic Party is a fool's errand. That the Democratic Party changes you. You don't change the Democratic Party. Just look. Just look at Bernie Sanders and every member of the squad who voted for the largest upward transfer of wealth in the history of the human race. And there's no excuse for that. We had Ro Khanna on. I held his feet to the fire, but nothing's going to happen because who gives a shit that I held his feet to the fire on my show? And you need someone else to follow up on that. No one else is going to. There isn't anyone worth fucking shit in journalism who's going to do anything about the CARES Act. They all liked it. The people in the news media. They have no idea what's in it. There's 10,000 people in a line for food in Texas, and nobody understands what was wrong with the CARES Act. Why it was wrong for Bernie Sanders and every progressive in Congress to vote for it instead of voting against it. It would have passed anyway. Why not vote against it so people would know there was something messed up in it? Oh, that's right, because they're all servants to the machine. Even if they don't take the machine's money, they still serve the people who do. That's what's wrong with being a progressive in the Democratic Party. And apparently when I say this, it's very, first of all, I'm very important. And what I say super matters. And oh my God. I'm very flattered that what I say matters. I mean, what I say fucking matters.
You'd think they'd be nicer to you.
You'd think they'd be nicer. But that's the position of the show. And having progressives inside the Democratic Party in Congress is actually worse than not having them. Why is that, Jimmy? Because it gives people the wrong impression that there's an opposition party in America, and there isn't. It gives the people the wrong impression that the Democrats look out for workers and regular people, and they don't. But what they do is they have 4 or 5 people who are progressive in their party, and they go, and then they don't. And Nancy Pelosi goes, "Oh, you have to listen to them," and they don't. And they get them to vote for stuff like the largest upward transfer of wealth in history. That's what happens, and I'll call that out. Fingers crossed for the progressives to go against Nancy Pelosi. But they had a chance already. They've already had a chance, and they didn't do it. So here's their chance: Democrats nominate Nancy Pelosi to keep speakership. That's from today, November 18th. Today's the 18th, right?
Yes.
Nice. A decision we as a nation can come together and all hate. And why did they nominate her? Because of that killer showing in last election where she lost seats in the House. It must be because she did everything. Why are they nominating Nancy Pelosi? It must be because she did everything she could to stop Trump's Supreme Court pick. And by everything, I mean she did nothing. They lost seats in the House, and they renominate the person who is poison. Box office poison. Why? Because losing is winning. Because fundraising is winning. And that's what she does. She's the biggest corrupt person in Congress, so she takes the most money from corporations in Wall Street and the military-industrial complex, and then she spreads it to her friends, and then they vote for her as Speaker. That the progressives didn't even run a challenge against her. So just know that when you vote for a progressive, when you vote for AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ro Khanna, you're voting for them to vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. And Nancy Pelosi is never going to bring Medicare for All to the floor. So why would you go to Congress and vote for that person? Someone tell me. I'm sure there is a bunch of Democratic apologists out there who can't wait to tell me, so I look forward. House Democrats on Wednesday nominated Speaker Nancy Pelosi to remain atop the party for another 2 years, brushing aside internal grousing about a disappointing election performance and a vote demonstrating an overwhelming confidence in their longtime leader. Wow. We keep losing. Who cares? Who's hosting the next fundraising dinner? That's what we really care about. Hey, you guys keep losing under Pelosi. So what? The nomination was secured by voice vote.
Again. Why is that?
During a process. And guess what? I'm going to guess AOC didn't ask for a recorded vote this time either. I'm going to guess that nobody asked for a recorded vote this time either. So you could all be cowards and then you can lie later about your vote. But they're not even going to lie. No one's even pretending they don't vote for Nancy Pelosi. They all do. Why even do a voice vote? Wow. The nomination was secured by voice vote during a process conducted remotely as a health precaution amid a surge of coronavirus cases.
And we still don't have Medicare for all.
The nomination was secured by voice vote as a health precaution. That's why. And because nobody wants to be on the record supporting her. The outcome was never in doubt. Pelosi ran unopposed. Wow. Because why even have the facade that the progressives give a shit about you? Why even have the facade? Why even pretend? Hakeem Jeffries, who's actually further right than Pelosi, can you believe it? Hakeem Jeffries is like the Dick Cheney to George Bush. Like Nancy Pelosi is like George Bush, and Hakeem Jeffries is like Dick Cheney. That's what we have in the that's what the Democratic Party has, not we. That's what the Democratic Party has. Hakeem Jeffries, viewed among Democrats as the heir apparent to Pelosi, also ran unopposed and won a second term as House Democratic Caucus chairman, putting him in prime position to climb the leadership ladder once the old guard, Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, and Clyburn, step aside. Which is likely. They'll probably step aside about 5 years after climate change kills us all. It's actually very fitting and on brand for the Democratic Party that nobody in the entire party has the courage to even challenge Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House. Yeah. The Democratic Party's a garbage party. What the F do you think the Democrats, the progressives, are going to be doing this next year while Joe Biden is president? What do you think they're going to be doing? What do you think they're going to be doing now that they have absolutely no leverage and the oligarchs already got their $5 trillion? What do you think they're going to be doing? They're going to be doing whatever Nancy Pelosi tells them to do. That's what they're going to be doing. FYI. Wow. They can't even, not one person to the left of Pelosi will even challenge her. Got to vote. Make sure you vote. 88% of the Democratic Party supports Medicare for all, and we can't even get a goddamn floor vote under Nancy Pelosi. And they all voted for her. Isn't that crazy? 9 out of 10 actual voting Democrats want something, are against Nancy Pelosi. And guess what? 100% of the people you elected to Congress voted for her. Isn't that amazing? 9 out of 10 Democrats are against Nancy Pelosi. 9 out of 10 want Medicare for all. 100% of elected Democrats voted for Nancy Pelosi. Do you see that we don't live in a democracy? Do you see that it doesn't matter who you vote for? Do you see that it didn't matter? What did it matter to have progressives elected to Congress? What did it matter to have the squad elected to Congress when they voted for the surveillance state anyway? What is the point? That's not me saying that. That's Norman Solomon said that. What's the point of voting for progressives if they go along with their surveillance state anyway? The answer is there is no point. What is the point of voting for progressives if they go along with the largest upward transfer of wealth in the history of the world anyway? The answer is there is no point. And I'll keep saying this. And a lot of people know this to be true, which is why my show does so well. And why we have a lot of solutions over here. You know what one of the solutions aren't? Voting Democrat. One of the solutions we have is starting a third party, which is why we're sticking our chin out over here to actually do something, to connect ourselves to a cause. And the people who criticize this show don't. You know what their cause is? Defending the Democratic Party. Another one is a direct action, which is why we have a strike page at our website. The third thing is ranked choice voting. Isn't it something those people never talk about any of those things, or only disparagingly? So 9 out of 10 Democrats want Medicare for all. The person the squad and every progressive in Congress just voted for is against it and will never bring it up for a vote. So you're just fucked. There's no way to vote against. There's no way to vote for your own interests if you vote Democrat. There's no way to vote your own interests. You could have voted for someone who's going to go vote for Nancy Pelosi, who's already guaranteed to deny you health care. What's the point? The answer is there isn't a point. That's why we're trying to start a third party. They just reelected Nancy Pelosi as speaker. This party is never going to change. It will always be a party that puts corporate greed over human need, and that's just a fact. There's the Princeton study, which shows you that the government doesn't represent you at all, not even a little bit. And you suckers think voting for a progressive inside the Democratic Party is going to make a bit of difference. Well, congratulations. Who's being naive now, Kay? Senator, here, by the way, here's sent by. You know what? You know why they had to do it? Because of a voice vote? Because of the health precaution amid the surge. But if it was such a health precaution, why is Dianne Feinstein not wearing a fucking mask? Walking through the corridors over at the Capitol. She doesn't have a mask on. She had no mask, but she did have a walking stick made out of human skulls.
So, shortly,
There she is. She got no mask.
I guess, right?
Thank you.
Have a good one, Senator.
Thank you.
Okay. So there you go. Now you know the rest of the story. So there you go. Voting for progressive inside the Democratic Party. It's a fool's errand. Progressives inside the Democratic Party, the argument is they actually do more damage because it gives people the false impression that there's an opposition party in the United States. And there isn't. Let's start a third party. Let's do this. Because voting Democrat, we're all going to be dead by the time there's enough progressives to take over that party. That it should happen about 5 years after we're all dead from climate change. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.